Hey Trinity family, Pastor Nick here. It is Friday morning, and this is a special pastoral update because, as many of you have heard, yesterday the CDC released some very exciting news. In light of the latest research, in light of the trends in COVID cases, what they've said is that those who are fully vaccinated can go back to living life the way that they did before the pandemic. And this has caused a great deal of rejoicing in our society, and I will be honest, I am one of those who is absolutely thrilled to hear that news. Now, there are still safety guidelines that they're asking people to observe when it comes to things like public transit and large gatherings and so forth, but we fully anticipate that later on today, we're also going to be hearing from Governor Pritzker as he adjusts some of our state guidelines to match up with what we're hearing from our national leadership. And again, this is really, really good news. Now, of course, the question then becomes, so what does that mean for us in terms of public worship? And we are going to be making some changes to our gatherings together that reflect the guidance and direction of our leaders and the health experts who've been looking into the data and the research. So you can anticipate that some of those changes are coming. But the other thing that I want to say is that those changes are not coming this weekend. And there's really two reasons why. Number one, we want to have enough time as a church leadership to really look at what they're recommending and to make adjustments according to those guidelines. All along throughout the pandemic, we've really been putting Romans 13 into practice, where God tells us that those who are in authority over us are therefore our good. And so we really want to have some time to process what they're telling us, what the implications are for large gatherings, and then how we can adjust appropriately. But the second reason is more of a reason oriented towards our neighbors. There are people who have signed up for weekend worship, who are coming and planning on attending in person, but they signed up with the understanding that we would be doing things like maintaining social distancing and wearing masks. And the last thing that we want to do is pull the rug out from underneath them this weekend and they show up and suddenly don't feel safe because the restrictions they thought they would be in place are now gone. And so in order to not drive anyone away from worship, we're not going to make any changes this weekend. We're still going to worship the way we have over the past several months with pews roped off, wearing masks, and doing check-ins. Now, you can anticipate that next week you're going to hear some changes. We are going to be communicating as a whole church on our website, social media feeds, e-news, and so forth. And we're going to let you know what those changes are in advance of next weekend's worship. But for this Sunday, we are asking that if you're coming in person, that you help us by continuing to wear your mask, by continuing to sit only in the open pews, by continuing to check in. Again, this is just our way of loving our neighbor, and one of the things that the New Testament tells us over and over and over again is that we willingly surrender our rights for the sake of caring for those around us. And so we don't want to pull the rug out from anybody. We want to make sure that we're not driving anyone away from worship who is anticipating worshiping with us with those restrictions in place. And so again, that's just a decision that we've made just for this weekend, but be on the lookout in the coming week for more changes that reflect some of the adjustments and the guidelines that are being made by our national and our state leaders. So, with all that being said, we do rejoice. We rejoice that we're taking yet another step in getting beyond this pandemic. We rejoice in the changes that this will mean for us in worship together. And we continue to pray. We continue to pray that the vaccine rollout continues to go well, that we continue to see cases go down, and that ultimately we all as a whole society and a whole world can move beyond this pandemic, which has been so devastating on so many different levels. The other thing that I want to say is I look forward to joining you all in worship this weekend. We are going to be here at 8:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. right here at Trinity Kimberly Way. We look forward to worshiping together, and again, be on the lookout for any changes in the coming week. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and we'll see you on Sunday.